Call of Duty points are now in Infinite Warfare. If you want the best way to get free Call of Duty points, click the link down in the description, install the app, and start getting yourself some free Call of Duty points today. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to their Call of Duty video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about boots on the ground. Now, everyone has heard that iconic term boots on the ground, jetpacks. Essentially what that means and what that's talking about is the traditional style of Call of Duty where maybe you have a slide jump, maybe you have just a slide or a dolphin dive, but you don't have that jetpack double jump feature. And then of course jetpacks would be like Advanced Warfare, BO3, and then also Infinite Warfare. Those are the only games to feature that sort of movement style. So now that we know Call of Duty World War II is going to be back to boots on the ground for the first time in 3 years, almost 4 years it's going to be, we're going to have to talk about this, and it's something that is going to be pretty interesting. And I have a lot of points here to talk about the difference between play styles and gameplay between a boots on the ground Call of Duty and a jetpack Call of Duty. So if you guys could drop a like on this video, I'd really appreciate that. I'm getting into uploading a lot lately and getting back into the swing of things, and I have another video ready to go. I'm gonna upload late tonight, so if you guys could smash out 1,000 likes as soon as this video hits 1,000 likes, I'm ready to go and I'll public that other video. It's an Infinite Warfare tip video. I'm sure lots of you guys would like that, so guys, smash up likes on this thing. Subscribe if you guys are new, and let's get right into it. So with going back to boots on the ground, I'm sure a lot of the people that watch these videos, like myself, I started playing Call of Duty back in technically COD 4, but I like to say Modern Warfare 2 because that's when I really got into it. And so I am accustomed to both styles of playing, whether it's boots on the ground or whether it's the advanced movement. But people that maybe just started playing this year, or even if you started playing Advanced Warfare, you might not be used to that traditional style of play of Call of Duty. Maybe you played a bit of COD 4 Remaster, but I think that one it embodies the more traditional boots on the ground, where it's like the really old boots on the ground style, because in that game there's no sort of sliding, there's no sort of dolphin dives. So we're going to talk about the differences today. So the first point that I have here is that with these boots on the ground Call of Duty games, sniping is going to be much easier to get into. Now back in the day, I was a pretty decent sniper, I would say, especially on Modern Warfare 3, BO2, Modern Warfare 2. Those are my favorite games to snipe in, and I was pretty good at sniping even in COD Ghost. But with these advanced movement Call of Duty games, now Advanced Warfare wasn't that bad, but with BO3 and Infinite Warfare, those games, it was so extremely hard to snipe, and the skill gap with sniping, essentially what they did is they made it harder to hit your shots, and of course it's going to be harder because in advanced movement, people are going to be flying all over. You don't just have to aim at the ground and a little bit above the ground for people that are jumping. You have to be aiming all over, and you have to be quick on the reactions and quick scoping, and that's essentially the only way you can snipe in the new Call of Duty games is by quick scoping, when back in the older Call of Duty games, sniping was a little bit easier to get into. Of course, it was still very hard to master, but that's something I'd look out for with World War II, is there going to be a lot more people sniping. There's honestly not that many snipers on these new Call of Duty games, but there probably is going to be a lot of them on World War II, because if you play an older Call of Duty game, if you hop on MW3 right now, it's pretty much all snipers, because the snipers go back and play those traditional Call of Duty games. And that's one point that if you're interested in sniping, you will probably like the boots on the ground Call of Duty better. The next point I have is that drop shotting will make a return. Now, I had a question about this. I think it's in my next video that's coming out. Essentially, people are saying drop shotting is where you just drop down as soon as you see an enemy and you gun them down. And that's what was essentially used to win gunfights back in the older Call of Duty games, because there was no double jump, there was no wall run, jump, dodgy enemies' bullets like you're in the Matrix or something like that. Essentially, what you had to do was drop shot and get your shots off, or you could jump shot. And I think that drop shotting will be back with World War II. Drop shotting was famously used in Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2, interestingly enough, it was a jump shot that was used. It wasn't a double jump, it was just a traditional one jump, because in that game you could jump a little bit higher, which gave you the advantage over drop shots, and that's when SCUF controllers really got popular, because people were trying to jump shot in Black Ops 2. And then of course in these newer Call of Duty games, you really never see drop shotting, because you can just double jump, and double jumping to the side, like diagonally, will always give you a bigger advantage than drop shotting. My next point is that it's going to be a slower pace, slower movement around the map. If you look at a game like BO3, when I spawn, I slide off the wall, slide, and I'm at B domination already. However, in a game with traditional movement, it's just going to be slower pace movement. Now, this is one thing that I'm kind of worried about, is because it's going to be slower pace movement, which is fine as long as they adjust the maps accordingly. The maps need to be smaller maps to keep up with the fast-paced style that Call of Duty has always had and that Call of Duty deserves to have, right? If you have the same maps from Advanced Warfare or from Infinite Warfare, but everyone is boots on the ground, it's going to be a little bit slower paced. Although Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare did have some pretty good maps, pretty decent sized ones. However, if you take maybe a map from BO3, we'll say you take Redwood, that map would play really badly on boots on the ground because of how big it is, how much it was made for wall running and wall jumping and stuff like that. So I think that I'm hoping that a lot of the maps are all medium to small based. Maybe they'll have one or two bigger maps for snipers, but I'm hoping they don't have too many of those, and I hope that it still fits the fast-paced play style of some of these advanced movement Call of Duty games. Next point I have is that the gunfights and the map movements are going to be more consistent, which will reward players. There's a little debate here about skill gap here. It's going to probably reward players who understand the maps more, because in a Call of Duty boots on the ground game, if you're watching one way, the enemies can only come out on the ground level. That's essentially the only way they can come out. You know, the head glitches are going to be more useful. People are only going to be able to walk one way. However, say on this map, Black Ops 3 Nuketown, if I'm watching that right side, they can come out on the ground. They can come out 5 feet up the wall, 10 feet up the wall, 20 feet up the wall. There's so many different variables that exist in advanced movement in Call of Duty games, which won't be there in boots on the ground. And that's really the debate. Will that increase skill gap or decrease it? I think that the skill gap is probably a bit bigger on the advanced movement games because there's more ability to outplay your enemies. You know, you have a better chance to turn on enemies or to outplay them simply because of how you can use the movement system if you are a good player. However, if you have the map knowledge of the boots on the ground Call of Duty game, and I think that World War II, one thing that you'll see all the good players do is they're going to learn specific game modes and specific maps the first week the game comes out, or maybe even in the beta, because I believe there was a beta confirmed. Once you know and understand the maps, you're going to understand it on another level than you did with these advanced movement, because people can only come on the ground. That's the only way they can go, and it's going to be a lot easier to shut down people like that. Next thing is that there's going to be, the 3-lane maps are going to have a bigger purpose now, because with 3-lane maps, which is the traditional Call of Duty style maps, you have your 3 lanes, one on the right, one on the left, one in the middle, B domination in the middle, and then A and B on the other sides, or A and C on the other sides, excuse me. And what this means is that those maps are going to be more prevalent because people are going to be able to hold down those head glitches, hold down those lanes, because essentially if people were on a head glitch or on a spot where they were camping at in a advanced movement Call of Duty game, all I have to do, for example, a person's on this car on Nuketown, is I just double jump and I'm up above them. I have the aerial advantage, so I can shoot down not just at their head. Now I can see their head probably down to their waist area, makes the shot a lot easier. However, if that double jump isn't available, I literally have to hit them in the head. So head glitching is going to be more prevalent. There's going to be more campers, honestly, on a boots on the ground Call of Duty game, which kind of sucks. And the reason why there's going to be more campers is because you won't be able to outplay them as easily as you can. If someone's camping in Black Ops 3, oh my gosh, he's camping at the back of the map. Boom, boom, slide, wall run, and I run up to him and kill him right in the face. That won't be available. You're going to have to play a lot more tactical and definitely a complete different sort of play style. Next thing I have written down here is that one of the trolling things is going to come back, is that your teammates can trap you in the corner. Now, if anyone remembers, if anyone's played any of the older Call of Duty games, they obviously remember this. If you were in a corner, maybe sitting to reload or something like that, your teammates could just back their ass up into you and you would be stuck in that corner. There was no way to get out. You couldn't double jump over them. When in any of these newer Call of Duty games, you trap me in a corner, I'm just jump, and I'm out. So that's something that's going to be back for the trolls. So there is a few downfalls to boots on the ground, but of course I think boots on the ground is the way Call of Duty should be, especially after 3 years of advanced movement. No one is begging for more advanced movement, and it's going to be good for the old players to get that old style back, and also for the new players who just started playing these last few Call of Duty games to experience the boots on the ground and decide which one they like better. I think it's always good to mix things up and then go back to that classic one. I think the World War II reveal trailer got the most likes ever in one day gameplay of any Call of Duty reveal trailers, and I'm not sure about the views. I think it did have a lot of views though as well, of course. The hype is up for this game, and that's definitely something that's good for, you know, me as a Call of Duty fan and as a Call of Duty YouTuber. There's nothing I want more than people to love and enjoy the game, and I'm very excited for this game. I'm very excited for the multiplayer trailer, or the multiplayer reveal, and I really want to see more stuff about the multiplayer, because that's usually how it goes. Every year the campaign looks pretty decent, but then the multiplayer is where I really gets down to it, and that's what I really care about the Call of Duty franchise. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like on this thing. Let's smash it 1,000 likes real quick. Subscribe for a cookie and don't looky, and that's about it, guys. Have a great night. I'm out. Peace.